Why doesn't she come? This waiting is horrible. I wish she should be here. Why is she not in here to wake by passionate words some fire within me? I'm cold. Cold as a lifeless thing. Arthur must have read my letter by now. If he cared about me at all, he would have come after me, taken me back by force. But he doesn't care. He's entrammelled by this woman, fascinated by her, dominated by her. If a woman really wants to hold on to a man, she merely has to appeal to what is worst in men. We make gods of men, and they leave us. Others make brutes of them, they fawn and are faithful. How hideous life is. Oh, it is mad me coming here. Horribly mad. And yet, which is worse? To be at the mercy of a woman who loves me, or the wife of a man whose own house dishonors one. What woman knows? What woman in the whole world? And will she always love me, this woman who I am giving my life? And what do I bring her? Lips that have lost their note of joy, eyes that are flooded by tears, chilly hands and an icy heart. I give her nothing. I must go back. No, I can't go back. Letters put me in their power. Arthur would not want me back. No. I will go back. Let Arthur do with me what he pleases. I can't wait here. It has been madness me coming. I must go at once. As for Lady Darlington. Oh, there she is. Oh, what shall I do? What shall I say to her? Will she let me go away at all? I've heard that women can be brutal, horrible. Oh.
Lady Windermere, thank heaven I am in time. You must go back to your husband's house immediately.
Must?
Yes, you must. There is not a second to be lost. Lady Darlington may return at any moment.
Don't come near me.
Oh, you are on the brink of ruin. You are on the brink of a hideous precipice. You must go back to your house at once. My carriage is waiting at the corner of the street. You must come with me and drive straight home. Oh, what are you doing?
Mrs. Erlyn, had you not come here, I would have gone back. But now that I see you, I feel that nothing in the world would induce me to live under the same roof as Lord Windermere. You fill me with horror. Something about you stirs the wildest rage within me. And I know why you're here. My husband sent you to lure me back that I might serve blind to whatever relations exist between the two of you.
You don't think that. You can't.
Go back to my husband, Mrs. Erlyn. He belongs to you, not me. I'm afraid. I suppose he is afraid of some scandal. Men are such cowards. They outrage every law in the world, and then they are afraid of the world's tongue. Oh, but he better prepare himself. He shall have a scandal. He shall have the worst scandal that has been in Boston for years. He shall see his name in every vile paper, mine on every hideous placard.
No.
Yes, he shall. Had he come here himself, I admit, I was going to go back. I would have gone back to the horrible life that you and me had prepared for me. But to stay himself at home and send you as the messenger? Oh, it is infamous. Infamous.
Lady Windermere, you wrong me horribly. You wrong your husband horribly. He does not know you are here. He thinks you are safe in your own house. He thinks you are asleep in your own bed. He never saw that mad letter you wrote to him.
Never read it?
No, he knows nothing about it.
How simple do you think me? You were lying to me.
I am not. I am telling you the truth.
If my husband didn't read that letter, then how is it that you know I'm here? Who told you that I had left the house that you were so shameless to enter? Who had told you where I had gone? My husband told you, and he sent you to decoy me back.
Your husband has never seen the letter. I saw it. I opened it. I read it.
You opened a letter that I wrote to my husband? You wouldn't dare.
Dare? Oh, to save you from the abyss into which you are falling, there is nothing in the world I wouldn't dare. Nothing in the whole world. Here is your letter. Your husband has never read it. He never shall read it. It should never have been written.
How do I know that that was my letter after all? You seem to think that the commonest device can take me in.
Why do you disbelieve everything I tell you? What object do you think I have in coming here except to save you from utter ruin, to save you from the consequence of a hideous mistake? That letter that is now burnt was your letter, I swear it to you.
You took good care to burn it before I had examined it. I cannot trust you. You whose life is a lie. Can you tell the truth about anything?
Say what you will about me. Think what you like against me. But go back. Go back to the husband you love.
I do not love him.
Yes, you do. And you know that he loves you.
He doesn't understand what love is. He understands it as little as you do. But I see what you want. Oh, it would be a great advantage for you to have me back. Oh, dear heaven, what a life I would have then, living at the mercy of a woman who neither has nor mercy nor pity, a woman who it is an infamy to me, a degradation to know, a vile woman, a woman who comes between a husband and a wife.
Lady Windermere, don't say such terrible things. You don't know how terrible they are, how terrible and how unjust. Listen, you must listen. Only go back to your husband, and I promise you never to communicate with him again on any pretext, never to see him again, never to have anything to do with his life or yours. The money he gave me not through love, but through hatred. Not in worship, but in contempt. The hold I have over him.
You would make you have a hold over him.
Yes, and I will tell you what it is. It is his love for you, Lady Windermere.
You expect me to believe that?
You must believe it. It is true. It is his love for you that has made him submit to, call it what you like, tyranny, threats, anything you choose, but it is his love for you, his desire to spare you shame. Yes, shame and disgrace.
What do you mean? You are insolent. What have I to do with you?
Nothing. I know it. But I tell you that your husband loves you, that you may never meet again with such a love in your life, that such a love you will never meet. And if you throw it away, the day may come where you starve for love, and it will not be given you. Beg for love, and it will be denied you. Oh, Arthur loves you.
Arthur. And you admit there is nothing between you?
Lady Windermere, before heaven, your husband is guiltless of all offenses towards you, and had it ever occurred to me that such a monstrous suspicion would have entered your mind, I would have gladly died before crossing his life or yours. Oh, gladly died.
You talk as if you have a heart. Women like you have no hearts. You are bought and sold.
Believe what you will about me. I am not worth a moment's sorrow. But don't spoil your beautiful young life on my account. You don't know what may be in store for you unless you leave this house at once. You don't know what it is to fall into the pit, to be despised, mocked, abandoned, sneered at, to be an outcast, to find the door shut against one, to have to creep in by hideous byways, afraid every moment lest the mask be stripped from one's face, and all the while to hear the laughter. The horrible laughter of the world, a thing more tragic than all the tears the world has ever shed. You don't know what it is. One pays for one's sins, and one pays again. And all one's life one pays. You must never know that. As for me, if suffering the expiation that at this moment I have expiated all my faults, whatever they have been, for tonight you have made a heart in one who had it not. Made it. And broken it. But let that pass. I may have wrecked my life, but I will not let you wreck yours. You. Why, you are a mere girl. You would be lost. You haven't got the kind of brains that enables a woman to get back. You have neither the wit nor the courage. You can't stand dishonor. No. Go back, Lady Windermere, to the husband you love who loves you. You have a child, Lady Windermere. Go back to that child who even now in pain or in joy may be calling to you. God gave you that child. He will require from you that you make his life fine, that you watch over him. What answer will you make to God if his life is ruined through you? Go back to your house, Lady Windermere. Your husband loves you. He has never swerved from that love for which he bears you, but even if he had 1,000 loves, you must stay with your child. If he was harsh to you, you must stay with your child. If he ill-treated you, you must stay with your child. If he abandoned you, your place is with your child. Oh, Lady Windermere.
Take me back. Take me back.
Come. Where's your coat? Here. Put it on. We must go at once.
I'm sorry you got kicked off, but how was I supposed to know?
No, Cecil. I must go home. My wife.
There's no one.
Yes, there is. Listen. Oh, that's my husband's voice. Oh, he's coming in. Save me. Oh, this is some plot. You sent for him.
Silence. I'm here to save you if I can, but I'm afraid it is too late. There. At the first chance you get, slip out, if you ever get a chance.
But you.
Never mind me. I'll face them.
Nonsense, dear Windermere. You must not leave me.
Lord Augustus? Then it is I who am lost.
Nuisance! They're turning us out of the club at this hour. It's only 2 o'clock. The lively part of the evening is just beginning.
It was very good of you, Lady Darlington, allowing Lord Augustus to force our company on you this evening, but I'm afraid I can't stay long.
Really? I am so sorry. You'll take a cigar, won't you?
No, thanks.
My dear boy, you mustn't dream of going yet. I have a great deal to talk to you about, and of demmed importance, too.
Oh, we all know what that is. Tubby can't talk about anything but Mrs. Erlin.
Well, that is no business of yours, is it, Cecil?
None. And that is why it interests me so much. My own business always bores me to death. I much prefer other people's.
Have a drink, you fellows. Cecil, you'll take a whiskey and soda?
Thanks. Mrs. Erlin looked rather handsome tonight, didn't she?
I am not one of her admirers.
I usedn't to be, but I am now. Why, she actually made me introduce her to dear Aunt Caroline. I believe she's going to lunch there.
No.
She is, really.
Excuse me, you fellows. I am going away tomorrow. I have a few letters to write.
Clever woman, Mrs. Erlin.
Hello, Dumby. I thought you were asleep.
I usually am.
A very clever woman. It knows perfectly well what a dumb fool I am. Knows it as well as I do myself.
Okay.
You may laugh, my boy, but it is a great thing to come across a woman who thoroughly understands one.
It's a very dangerous thing. It usually ends by marrying one.
I thought, Tuppy, that you were never going to see her again. Yes, you told me so the other night at the club.
Oh, no, she's explained that.
And the Kardashian affair?
She's explained that too.
And her income? Did she explain that, Tuppy?
She is going to explain that tomorrow.
Awfully commercial women nowadays. Our grandmothers threw their caps over the mills, but by Jove, their granddaughters only throw their caps at mills that can raise the winds for them.
You want to make her out a wicked woman. She is not.
Oh, wicked women bother one, good women bore one. That is the only difference between them.
Mrs. Erlin has a future before her.
Mrs. Erlin has a past before her.
I prefer women with a past. They're always so damned amusing to talk to.
Oh, well, you'll have lots of topics of conversation with her, Tuppy.
You're getting annoying, dear boy. You're getting damned annoying.
Oh, Tuppy, you've lost your figure and you've lost your character. Don't lose your temper, you've only got the one.
My dear boy, if I wasn't the most good-natured man in Boston...
Treat you with more respect, wouldn't we, Tuppy?
Perfectly brutal, the youth of today. Absolutely no respect for dyed hair.
Well, Mrs. Erlin has a great deal of respect for dear Tuppy.
Mrs. Erlin sets an admirable example for the rest of her sex. It is perfectly monstrous the way most women today treat men who are not their husbands.
Dumby, you are ridiculous, and Cecil, you let your tongue run away with you. You must leave Mrs. Erlin alone. You really don't know anything about her, and you're always talking scandal against her.
My dear Arthur, I never talk scandal. I only talk gossip.
And what is the difference between scandal and gossip?
Oh, gossip is charming. History is merely gossip, but scandal is gossip made tedious by morality. Now, I never moralize. A man who moralizes is usually a hypocrite, and a woman who moralizes is invariably plain. There is nothing so unbecoming to a woman as a nonconformist conscience, and most women know it, I'm glad to say.
Just my sentiments, dear boy. Just my sentiments.
Sorry to hear it, Tuppy. Whenever someone agrees with me, I always feel I must be wrong.
My dear boy, when I was your age.
But you never were, and you never will be. I say, Darlington, let's have some cards. You'll play, Arthur, won't you?
No, thanks, Cecil.
Goodness, how marriage ruins a man. It's almost as demoralizing as cigarettes and far more expensive.
You'll play, of course, Tuppy.
Dear boy. Promise Mrs. Erlin never to play or drink again.
My dear Tuppy, don't be led astray into the paths of virtue. Reformed, you would be perfectly tedious. That is the worst of women. They always want you to be good, and if we are good, when they meet us, then they don't love us at all. They like to find us quite irretrievably bad and leave us quite unattractively good.
They always do find you bad.
Oh, I don't think you're bad. I think you're all good, except Tuppy.
No, they are all of them in the gutter. But some of them are looking at stars.
No, they are all of them in the gutter, but some of them are looking at stars. Upon my word, you are very romantic tonight, Darlington.
Too romantic. You must be in love. Who is this person, then?
The person I love is not free, or thinks they aren't.
A married person, then. Wow, there's nothing in the world quite like the devotion of a married person. It's a thing no other married person knows anything about.
Oh, they do not love me. They are a good person. They are the only good person I have ever met in my life.
The only good person you have ever met in your life.
Yes.
Well, you are very lucky. I have met hundreds of good people. I never seem to meet any but good people. The world is perfectly packed with good people. To know them is a middle-class education.
This person has purity and innocence, all things you men have lost.
My dear, what on earth should us men be doing going about with purity and innocence? A carefully thought out buttonhole is much more effective.
They really don't love you?
No, they do not.
I congratulate you, my dear. In this world, there are two tragedies. One is not getting what one wants, and the other is getting it. The latter is far worse. The latter is the real tragedy. But I'm interested to hear they do not love you. How long could you love someone who didn't love you, so?
Oh, a person who didn't love me? All my life.
Me too, but they are so hard to find.
How can you be so conceited, Dumby?
I didn't say it as a matter of conceit. I said it as a matter of regret. I have been wildly, madly adored. I am sorry, I have been. It's been an immense nuisance. I should like a bit of time to myself now and then.
Time to educate yourself, I suppose.
No, time to forget all that I have learned. That is much more important, dear Tuppy.
Oh, what cynics you all are. All such cynics.
What is a cynic?
A person who knows the price of everything and the value of nothing.
And a sentimentalist, my dear Darlington, is a person who puts an absurd value on everything but doesn't know the market price of any single thing.
You always amuse me, Cecil. You talk as if you were a man of experience.
I am.
You are far too young.
That is a great error. Experience is a question of knowledge about life. I have it. Tuppy doesn't. Experience is the name that Tuppy gives his mistakes.
Oh, experience is the name that everyone gives their mistakes.
One shouldn't commit any.
Life would be very dull without them.
Of course, you were quite faithful to this person that you were in love with, Darlington, to this good person.
Cecil, when one loves a person, all other people in the world become absolutely meaningless to one. Love changes one. I am changed.
Dear me, how very interesting. Tuppy, I want to talk to you.
It's no use talking to Tuppy. You might just as well talk to a brick wall.
But I like talking to a brick wall. It's the only thing in this world that never contradicts me. Tuppy!
Well, what is it? What
Here,
is it?
particularly. Well, Darlington has been moralizing and talking about the purity of love and, that sort of thing. But all the while, she has some woman in her rooms.
No. Really? Really?
Yes, here is her fan. Amazing.
By Jove, by Jove.
I really am off now, Lady Darlington. I'm so sorry to hear you're leaving soon. Pray, call on us when you come back. My wife and I will be charmed to see you.
I am afraid I shall be away many years. Good night.
Arthur, I want to talk to you.
I can't. I'm off.
Oh, but it is very particular and it will interest you immensely.
It is some of your nonsense, Cecil.
Oh, it isn't. It isn't really.
My dear fellow, you mustn't dream of going. I still have a great deal to talk to you about, and Cecil has something to show you.
Well, what is it?
Darlington has a woman in her rooms. Look, here's her fan. Amusing, isn't it?
Good God!
What is it?
Lady Darlington!
Yes?
What is my wife's fan doing here in your rooms?
I don't know, maybe you shop at the same fan place as...
Oh, shut it, Cecil!
Your wife's fan?
Yes, here it is!
I don't know.
You must know! I demand an explanation!
Well, I think we all know what the explanation is. I don't know if
Oh, enough, you fool!
He's here after all.
What was that? Speak up! What is my wife's fan doing here? Answer me, by God! I'll search your rooms, and if she's here, I'll...
You shall not search my rooms. You have no right to do so. I forbid it.
You temptress! I'll not leave your rooms until I have searched every corner of it. What moves there in the curtains?
Lord Windermere,
Mrs. Erlin?
I'm afraid I took your wife's fan, a mistake of my own, when I was leaving your party tonight. I'm so sorry.
How can I tell him? I can't tell him. It would kill me. I wonder what happened after I escaped that horrible room. Perhaps she told them the real reason for me being there and the real reason behind that fatal fan of mine. Oh, if he knows, how can I look at him in the face again? He would never forgive me. How securely one thinks one lives, out of reach of temptation, sin, folly. And suddenly, life is terrible. It rules us. We do not rule it.
Did your ladyship ring for me?
Yes. Have you found out what time Lord Windermere came in last night?
His lordship did not come in until 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. He knocked on my door this morning, didn't he?
Yes, my lady. At 9:30, I told him your ladyship was not awake yet.
Did he say anything?
Something about your ladyship's fan. I couldn't quite catch what his lordship said. Has the fan been lost, my lady? I have searched in all of the rooms and on the terrace as well.
It doesn't matter. Do not trouble yourself. That'll do. She is sure to tell him. I can fancy a person doing a wonderful act of self-sacrifice, doing it spontaneously, recklessly, nobly, only to find out that it costs too much. Why should she hesitate between her ruin and mine? Huh. How strange. I was willing to publicly disgrace her in my house. She accepts public disgrace in the house of another to save me. There's a bitter irony in things, and a bitter irony in the way that we talk of good and bad women. Oh, what a lesson. What a pity that we get our lessons when they are of no use to us. Or even if she doesn't tell, I must. Oh, to live through it all again. Actions are the first tragedy in life, and words are the second. Words perhaps the worst. Words are merciless. Ah. Oh.
Margaret, how pale you look.
I slept very badly.
I am so sorry. I came in dreadfully late and didn't like to wake you. You are crying, dear.
Yes, I am crying, for I have something to tell you, Arthur.
My dear, you are not well. You've been doing too much. Let us go away to the country. You'll be all right at Cape Cod. The season's almost over. There's no use staying on. Oh, poor darling. We'll go away today if you like. I'll send a wire to Fannin. We can still catch the 3:40.
Yes, let's go away today. No, I can't go away today, Arthur. There's someone I must see before I leave town. Someone who's been kind to me.
Kind to you?
Yeah, far more than that. I will tell you, Arthur, but only if you promise to love me. Love me as you used to love me.
Used to? You are not still thinking of that wretched woman who came here last night. Wait, you don't still imagine? No, you couldn't.
Oh, I don't. I know now that I was wrong and foolish.
It was very good of you to receive her last night, but you are never to see her again.
Why do you say that?
Margaret, I thought Mrs. Erlin was a woman more sinned against than sinning, as the phrase goes. I thought she wanted to be good, to lead again a decent life, to get back to a place that she lost by a moment's folly. I believed what she told me. I was mistaken. She is bad as a woman can be.
Arthur, don't talk so bitterly about any woman. I don't think now that people can be divided into the good and the bad as if they were two separate creations. Who we call good women may have in them mad moods of recklessness, jealousy, assertion, and sin. Bad women, as they are termed, may have in them sorrow, repentance, pity, and sacrifice. I don't think that Mrs. Erlin is a bad woman. I know she's not.
My dear, the woman's impossible. No matter what harm she tries to do to us, you must never see her again.
But I want to see her. I want her to come here.
Never.
She came here once as your guest. She must come now as mine. That is but fair.
She should never have come here.
It is too late, Arthur, to say that now.
My dear, if you knew where Mrs. Erlin went last night after she left this house, you would not sit in the same room as her. It was absolutely shameless, the whole thing.
Arthur, I cannot bear it any longer. I have to tell you that last night
Mrs. Erlin has called to return your ladyship's fan, which she took away by mistake last night. Mrs. Erlin has written a message on the card.
Okay. Ask Mrs. Erlin if she would be kind enough to come up. Say I would be very glad to see her. She wants to see me, Arthur.
I beg you not to. Let me see her first at any rate. She is a very dangerous woman. The most dangerous woman I know. You don't realize what you're doing.
It is right that I should see her.
My love, you may be on the brink of a great sorrow. Do not go to meet it. It is absolutely necessary that I see her before you do.
Why should it be necessary?
Mrs. Erlin.
How do you do, Lady Windermere? How do you do? Lady Windermere, do you know, I am so sorry about your fan. I can't imagine how I made such a silly mistake. Most stupid of me. And I was driving in your direction and thought I would take the opportunity of returning your property in person with many apologies for my carelessness and of bidding you goodbye.
Goodbye. Are you going away then, Mrs. Erlin?
Yes, I'm going to live abroad again. The climate doesn't suit me. heart is affected here, and that I don't like. I'm going to live in the South. Boston is too full of fogs and serious people, Lord Windermere. Whether the fogs produce the serious people or the serious people produce the fogs, I don't know. But the whole thing rather gets on my nerves, so I'm leaving this afternoon by the club train.
This afternoon, but I wanted to come and see you.
Oh, how kind of you, but I'm afraid I must go.
Shall I never see you again, Mrs. Erlin?
No, I'm afraid not. Our lives lie too far apart. But there is a little thing I would like you to do for me. I should like a photograph of you, Lady Windermere. Would you give me one? You don't know how gratified I should be.
Oh, with pleasure. There's one over on that table. I'll show it to you.
It is absolutely monstrous you're intruding yourself here after your conduct last night.
My dear Lord Windermere, manners before morals.
I am afraid that this is very flattering. I do not look like this.
You are much prettier. But, haven't you got one of you and your little boy?
Oh, I have. Would you prefer one of those?
Yes.
I'll go and get it for you. If you'll excuse me a moment. I have one upstairs.
Oh, I am so sorry, Lady Windermere, to cause you so much trouble.
Oh, no trouble at all, Mrs. Erlin.
Thank you so much. You seem rather out of temper this morning, Lord Windermere. Why should you be? Margaret and I are getting along charmingly together. I
can't bear to see you with her. Besides, you have not told me the truth, Mrs. Erlin.
I have not told her the truth, you mean?
I sometimes wish you had. I would have then been spared the misery, the anxiety, the annoyance of the last 6 months. But rather than my wife should know that the mother whom she was taught to consider as dead, the mother whom she mourned as dead, is living, a divorced woman going about under an assumed name, a bad woman preying upon life, as I know you now to be. Rather than that, I was willing to supply you with money to pay bill after bill, extravagance after extravagance, all to risk what occurred yesterday. The first quarrel I have ever had with my wife. You don't understand what that means to me. How could you? But I tell you this. The only bitter words that have come out of those sweet lips of hers were on your account. And I can't bear to see you with her. You sully the innocence that is in her. And then I used to think that for all your faults, you were frank and honest. Well, you are not.
Why do you say that?
You made me give you an invitation to my wife's party.
My daughter's party, yes.
You came, and within an hour of your leaving this house, you were found in Darlington's rooms. You are disgraced before all.
Yes.
Therefore, I have the right to look upon you as what you really are. A worthless, vicious woman. I have the right to tell you never to enter this house, never to come near my wife again.
My daughter, you mean?
You have no right to call her your daughter. You left her. Abandoned her when she was but a child in the cradle. Abandoned her for your lover who abandoned you in return.
Do you count that to his credit, Lord Windermere, or to mine?
To his, now that I know you.
Take care. You had better be careful.
Oh, I'm not going to mince words for you. I know you thoroughly.
I question that.
Oh, I do know you. For 20 years, you lived without your daughter, without a thought of your daughter. One day you read in the papers that she's married a rich man. You saw your hideous chance. You knew that to spare her the ignominy of knowing that a woman like you was her mother, that I would endure anything. And you began your blackmailing.
Don't use ugly words, Windermere. They're vulgar. I saw my chance, it's true, and I took it.
Yes, you took it and spoiled it all last night by being found out.
You're quite right. I spoiled it all last night.
And as for your blunder in removing my wife's fan from here and leaving it about in Darlington's rooms, it is unpardonable. I can't bear the sight of it now. I shall never let my wife use it again. The thing is soiled for me. You should have kept it and not brought it back.
I think I shall keep it. It's extremely pretty. I shall ask Margaret to give it to me.
Well, I hope my wife will give it to you.
I'm sure she will have no objection.
At the same time, I wish she would give you a little miniature she kisses every night before she prays. It's a miniature of a young, beautiful woman with long, dark hair.
I remember. How long ago that seems. It was done before I was married. Dark hair and an innocent expression were the fashion then, Windermere.
What do you mean by coming here this morning? What is your object?
Why, to bid goodbye to my dear daughter, of course. Don't imagine I'm going to have some pathetic scene weeping on her neck and telling her who I am and all that kind of thing. I have no interest in playing the part of the mother. Only once in my life have I known a mother's feelings. That was last night. They were terrible. They made me suffer. They made me suffer too much. No, for 20 years, as you say, I have lived childless. I want to live childless still. Besides, my dear Lord Windermere, how on earth could I pose as the mother to a grown-up daughter? Margaret is 21, and I have never once admitted to being more than 29, 30 at the most. 29 when there are pink shades, 30 when there are not. So you see what difficulties that would involve. No, as far as I'm concerned, let your wife cherish the memory of this dead, stainless mother. Who am I to interfere with her illusions? I find it hard enough to keep my own. I lost one illusion last night. I thought I had no heart. Well, I find I have one, and a heart doesn't suit me, Windermere. Somehow it doesn't go with the modern dress. It makes one look old. And it spoils one's career at critical moments.
You fill me with horror, with absolute horror.
I suppose, Windermere, you would like me to retire to a convent or become a hospital nurse or something of that kind like they do in silly modern novels. That is stupid of you, Arthur. In real life, we don't do such things, not as long as we have any good looks left at any rate. No, what consoles one nowadays is not repentance, but pleasure. Repentance is quite out of date. Besides, if one really repents, she has to go to a bad dressmaker, otherwise no one believes in her, and nothing in the world would induce me to do that. No, I'm going to pass entirely out of your two lives. Coming into them has been a mistake. I discovered that last night.
A fatal mistake.
Almost fatal.
I wish now that I had told my wife the whole thing at once.
You regret your good choices? I regret my bad ones. That is the difference between us.
I don't trust you. I'm going to tell her. It's right that she should know, and from me. It will cause her tremendous pain and humiliate her terribly, but it is right that she should know.
You propose to tell her?
Oh, I'm going to tell her.
If you do, I will make my name so infamous it will mar every moment of her life. It will ruin her and make her wretched. If you dare to tell her there is no depth of degradation I will not sink to, no pit of shame I will not enter, you shall not tell her. I forbid it.
Why?
If I told her that I cared for her, perhaps loved her even, you would sneer at me, wouldn't you?
I should feel as though it were not true. A mother's love requires devotion, unselfishness, sacrifice. What could you know of such things?
You're right. What could I know of such things? Let us not talk about it any longer. As for telling my daughter who I am, that I do not allow. It is my secret. It is not yours. If I make up my mind to tell her, and I think I will, I shall tell her before I leave the house today. Otherwise, I shall never tell her.
Then let me beg you to leave this house at once. I will make your excuses to Margaret.
I'm so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mrs. Erlin. I looked all over, and at last I found the photograph in my husband's dressing room. He had stolen it.
I am not surprised. It is charming. So this is your little boy. What is he called?
Gerard, after my father.
Really?
Yes, if it had been a girl, we'd have named it after my mother. My mother had the same name as myself, Margaret.
Margaret is my name too.
Oh, indeed.
Yes. You are quite devoted to your mother's memory, Lady Windermere, your husband tells me.
We all have our ideals in life, or at least we should have. Mine is my mother.
Ideals are dangerous things. Realities are better. They wound, but they're better.
If I lost my ideals, I should lose everything.
Everything?
Yes.
Did your father talk to you often of your mother?
No, it gave him too much pain. He told me how my mother had died a few months after I was born. His eyes filled with tears as he spoke. Then he begged me to never mention her name again. It made him suffer to hear it. My father really died of a broken heart. His was the most ruined life I know.
I'm afraid I must go.
Oh, no, don't.
Oh, yes, I think I better had. I'm sure my carriage has returned at this time. I sent it to Lady Jedburgh's with a note.
Arthur, would you mind seeing if Mrs. Erlin's carriage has come back?
Pray no, don't trouble, Lord Windermere.
Yes, Arthur, do please go. Oh, what am I to say to you? You saved me last night.
Hush, don't speak of it.
Oh, but I must speak of it. I can't let you think that I'm going to accept this sacrifice. I am not. It is too great. I'm going to tell my husband everything. It is my duty.
It is not your duty. At least you have a duty to others besides him. You say you owe me something?
I owe you everything.
Then pay your debt in silence. It is the only way in which it can be paid. Don't spoil the one good thing I did in my life by telling it to anyone. Promise me that what passed last night will remain a secret between us. You must not bring misery into your husband's life. Love is easily killed. Oh, how easily love is killed. Pledge me your word that you will never tell him. I insist upon it.
It is your will, not mine.
Yes, it is my will. And never forget your child. I like to think of you as a mother. I'd like you to think of yourself as one too.
I always will. Only once in my life have I ever forgotten my own mother. That was last night. Had I remembered her, I wouldn't have acted so foolish, so wicked.
Hush, last night is quite over.
Your carriage has not yet returned, Mrs. Erlin.
It makes no matter. I'll take a hansom. There is nothing quite so respectable as a good Shrewsbury and Talbot. And so, Lady Windermere, I'm afraid it really is goodbye. Oh, I've just remembered. You'll think me absurd, but do you know I've taken a great fancy to that fan I was so silly to run away with from your party last night. I wonder, will you give it to me? Lord Windermere says you may. I know it is his present.
Oh, certainly, if it'll give you any pleasure. But it has my name on it. It has Margaret on it.
But we have the same Christian name.
Oh, I forgot. Yes, of course, you have it. What a wonderful chance, our names being the same.
Quite wonderful. Thanks. It will always remind me of you.
Lord Augustus Lorton, Mrs. Erlin's carriage has come.
Morning, dear boy. Good morning, Lady Windermere. Mrs. Erlin.
How do you do, Lord Augustus? Are you quite well this morning?
Quite well, thank you, Mrs. Erlin.
You don't look at all well, Lord Augustus. You stop up too late. It is so bad for you. You had got to take better care of yourself. Goodbye, Lord Windermere. Lord Augustus, won't you see me to my carriage? You might carry the fan.
Allow me.
No, I want Lord Augustus. Won't you carry the fan, Lord Augustus? I have a special message for the dear Duchess.
If you really desire it, Mrs. Erlin.
Of course I do. You would carry it off so gracefully. You would carry off anything gracefully, dear Lord Augustus.
You will never speak again to Mrs. Erlin again, will you, Arthur?
She is better than one thought her.
She's better than I am.
Margaret, don't say that. You and she belong to different worlds. Into your world, evil has never entered.
Don't say that, Arthur. There is the same world for all of us, and the good and the bad, sin and innocence go through it hand in hand. To shut one's eyes to half of life, that one may live securely as though one has blinded oneself, that one might walk more safely through a land of pit and precipice.
My love, why do you say that?
Because I, who blinded myself to half of life, came to the brink. And the one who separated us.
We were never separated.
And we never must be again. Oh, Arthur, don't love me any less, and I will trust you more. Let us go to Cape Cod. In the rose gardens there, the roses are white and red.
Arthur, she has explained everything. My dear fellow, she has explained every damn thing. We all wronged her immensely. It was entirely for my sake she came to Darlington's rooms. Called first at the club. Fact is, wanted to put me out of suspense. And being told I had gone on, followed. Naturally, frightened when she heard a lot of us coming in, and retired to another room. I assure you, most gratifying to me, the whole thing. We all behaved brutally to her. She is just the woman for me. Suits me down to the ground. All the conditions she makes are that we live entirely out of the States. A very good thing, too. Demmed cooks, demmed clubs, demmed climate, demmed everything. Sick of it all.
Has Mrs. Erlin...
Yes, Lady Windermere. Mrs. Erlin has done me the honor of accepting my hand.
Well, you are certainly marrying a very clever woman.
Ah, you are marrying a very good woman.